Mm.
Welcome back. This is another week of word of mouth discussing relationships, careers, goals, etc. Like and subscribe to our channel. Link down below if you need any advice or anything like that. You can just email us right in the description, comment. So I was watching or listening or watching, you can watch it on YouTube, the Joe Budden podcast. And he was discussing Jada Pinkett and August Alsina. Shout out to them, the crew. I think they're funny. I like them. A little childish, but it's fun. And Maul made some valid points. So did Joe. So did Rory, Parks. Everybody made valid points, but Joe made a point that was interesting to me. He was talking about predatory behavior. And I know a lot of women have been through it. I won't say a lot. I know a couple women have been through it. And I know guys have been through it. You might even could say I've been through it in a sense. And I don't mean the simple predatory, they were raped. I mean the manipulation of somebody's mind. Now, we all know August Alsina's situations, what he's been going through over the last, 5 years, 5 years, something like that. And for anybody to go through that, that's a lot on the psyche, that's a lot on the mind, that's a lot on the body, that's a wear and tear thing. He's also discussed he was on drugs, he was on this, he was on that. Then all of a sudden Jada Pinkett comes on, and in some aspects of life, she might have got him off of drugs. She might have got him off of this. She might have turned his life around. But ultimately, what was the purpose of it? Did she do it just for a good friend, or did she do it so she can have, a boy toy? Granted, this is all still speculation. And that's what I'm here to discuss this week. Before you get into a relationship or start things with people, make sure you are in a good headspace. And I suggest not even telling people you are not in a good headspace. You just say, I'm just not interested right now. You say, I'm not looking for anything serious. Preferably, I would suggest women just say you're not interested, because guys see that as I'm not interested, I just want to have fun. I can see a lot of guys seeing that as a predatory behavior too, where they can just try to finesse their way into what they want out of you by being, this friend, this companion, etc., etc. All in all, they just there for one or two things. Now, the argument Joe and the rest of the cast, Maul, Rory, Parks, he said, was her behavior predatory? And in some instances, you could suggest, yes, it is predatory, because she knew the type of headspace he was in. When you know somebody's in a bad headspace, and I'm not saying she did everything bad or whatnot, but this is how you get a situation like this in the end. Granted, he was wrong, and we've discussed why he was wrong, but her parts were wrong too, because it's like, you got this guy, you're hanging out with him a lot, your husband's not around, sometimes your kids are around, and he don't seem to have any other women he's talking to or dating or whatnot, at least from our perspective. He's always with you, and I don't know much about his brother or anything like that, but you're always around him and you're not related. It's kind of what makes sense to happen next if you're the one who's been caring for him, if you're the one who got him off of drugs and put him on the right path and all that. Not to say she didn't do that, because she probably did those things too. Jada does not seem like a bad person, but there also should be a limit. And I guess this kind of touches upon inappropriate relationships. You help change his life around. There's nothing wrong with that. And if we're speculating that he did have sex, or they did have sex, then yeah, this is predatory behavior, because then you just dropped him, and it's like, you've been his world for the last umpteenth years, let's say 3 to 5 years till you've been in his world. So that is wrong. But on the other end of the spectrum, and we're just talking on their end, but we're talking about regular people too. A lot of people like to do predatory behavior when you know somebody's been through abuse and this and all this other stuff, and you do it to say, oh, I can change them, I can be who I want them to be. And let me go on my theory on power and control. It's an illusion, it's a construct created by man. For whoever you believe in, when you read and whatnot, most gods, to whoever you believe in, gave us free will. So if the God you believe in gave you, you know, the right to do whatever you wanted to do and does not intervene, I don't understand the ego of people to try to take that position, because it's really just an illusion. It's really just a control aspect. Like, there's nothing, control and power just doesn't exist. And I say that because, let's say you got, you know, we'll just go with a average situation. You know, you got this nerdy guy, this bad chick, you know, he has a lot of money, he's doing well for himself, and the chick's talking to him, he's spending money, he's spending this and spending that, and you're devoting time to him, etc., etc., but you know, you're not really into him, you just get material things out of him. And then you drop him just because you're tired of him and you talk to somebody you're interested in. For one, you're putting yourself in danger when you do that. A lot of danger, because he'll feel played, he'll feel this, he'll feel that, he'll feel manipulated when he goes back to thinking those situations. Not saying it's right, but that's how a lot of women have had their lives taken or been assaulted because of situations like that. A lot of men too, because they do manipulative things where they get their lives taken, their things broken and all that. And then you have the other aspect of even though you're getting time to that person, you're only giving minimal amount. You're giving subpar effort. So because you're doing that, and somebody's going to realize that, and it's a selfish aspect. They're going to realize it. They may not know, but they're not going to care because they're getting what they want. Whatever it is, your benefit you're serving them, they're getting it out of you. But the moment somebody comes along and gives them everything they want, you're gonna be dropped too. And you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna feel salty, you're gonna feel some type of way, you're gonna feel wronged or whatnot. But it's like you started this manipulation, you started this predatory behavior. It's like that movie, I can't remember the movie, but it has Taraji P. Henson in it, and she was like really crazy acting in Tyler Perry movie. Can't remember the name of it. It was a really good movie. But, you know, she was taking care of her husband, this guy, for so many years. And he had really manipulatory behavior. Granted, he finished school. He didn't want to get a job. He was just working on this engine or some sort, this contraption. And his wife was supporting him. And she had been supporting him for years. Not to say he was a bad guy all in all, but he wasn't doing anything. And he cheated once or twice or something like that. But he didn't want to, I'm not going to say he was lazy. I'm just saying he didn't have any responsibility or pride about who he was with. So now, you know, after all the years that she spent with him, she loses her house. She divorces the guy. The invention the guy came up with, you know, he finally gets it to work, and, you know, a company buys it or patents it or whatever. And then he pays her money. He buys her house back. He gives her, he pays it in full. He does everything he's supposed to do with her, but she's angry and upset inside because now this thing has worked. He didn't take her back. He wasn't trying to take her back. He moved on to another woman, the woman who actually got him in the door for his design. And she's just angry and bitter this entire time, especially because she didn't have any kids after all this time. And she's just angry. And she's angry. And the anger festers to the point where, like, they're on a yacht. She shoots him. And I think she shoots her. And they kill each other. And that's what manipulatory behavior can happen. Granted, that was spent over 10, 20 years, but that's what, when you manipulate somebody like that, that's what can happen. And uh, and he may not have known he's being manipulative, because he didn't portray himself as the smartest guy in the world. We'll say that much. Granted, he seemed educated, but not just common sense or like very selfish, self-absorbed. But that's what happens. Stuff like that can happen. It does happen. And on the other spectrum of it, we'll talk about men with their predatory behaviors. Now, there's a picture floating around of Angela Lee and August Alsina, where, from their interview, sitting on the couch, and he's real cozy with her. You can tell, at least from my perspective, she looks uncomfortable. She's kind of crossed away from him. She's just taking a picture. And in a sense, that's manipulatory, predatory behavior too, because now you're kind of putting a scene out there like you're trying to talk to her, or there's some interest there or whatnot, and she's just taking a picture. She's like, it is what it is. She's kind of like, this is a male chauvinistic entertainment thing, so it's whatever. But you got to be careful of women. You have to be careful of hanging around men like that, because they'll do that. They'll have this way about hanging around you that says they're with you even though they're not. And they'll chase dudes away, or they'll call you hoes. They'll do all these things knowing y'all never slept together. You have no interest with them. You friend-zone them to the max. But they'll do things behind your back that you don't know of, and they'll just kind of shoo everybody away until you decide that you want to date them. So, just be careful who you hang around with. Be careful of their mannerisms. Be observant of a person's mannerisms, especially in situations like that. And move forward with your life, because you don't need that. That's toxic. It's negative. They may not do it on purpose. They may are. Who knows? But, it is what it is. So like, subscribe to our channel. Link down below if you need any advice for anything. This is Word of Mouth. Peace.